Adrian Wooley might just be the crown jewel of a transfer portal class that includes both Isaac McKneely and Ryan Conwell. Pat Kelsey brought in the 6'5 guard out of Kennesaw State, and he's going to be a star in the ACC. Today we're going to break down his game film, talk about what he brings to a Louisville program that has aspirations for greatness, so stick around.
Another offensive board for the Owls. It's Wooley. It's wet.
Now, the first part of his game that I want to focus on is his ability to operate as a primary ball handler and using ball screens in particular. Now, he was a pick and roll ball handler about 80% of the time he was on the court last year on offense and was just absolutely super efficient. So he shot 52% overall from the field. He shot 45% from three. At the rim, he was really good. He can just really do it all and stress the defense out when he has the ball in his hands. So you have to kind of choose how you're going to play him as a defender. Do you try to fight over the top and cut him off? Because if you do that, there's a really good chance he's going to get to the rim. And when he gets to the rim, by the way, he's super patient. Like, he can take contact, go through people. He can get guys off balance with shot fakes and then go around them. He's just really dynamic with the ball in his hands. Now, if you try to cheat that, go underneath it and cut him off, he can also pull up. He's a really efficient three-point shooter like we've already talked about. So it's someone that on offense is just going to be able to start a lot of plays for you. And we'll talk about it later on, but it's going to feed guys as well because he's going to draw a ton of attention. But I want to stick to his offensive versatility and just say that he's so good attacking the rim that it creates so many good looks for him from the perimeter. And we'll talk more about the next part of his game. Now, next, I want to talk about his ability to hit threes off of the dribble. A lot of these are going to be in a similar situation where he's coming off of a screen, but he is extremely shifty with the ball in his hands. He creates a ton of space. He can snatch back. He can cross guys over and then bring them back to the three-point line, and they just don't have time to contest. He can also pump fake and blow by guys. But when you look at it percentage-wise, when he's shooting off the dribble, he's still shooting 42% from three. Like, that's incredibly efficient. Like, don't get lost in all of the stats that we throw out in these. He is a very efficient shooter on all levels, and he's going to make guys pay for giving him any space. And then when you talk about his ability to create that space, that's when you get real nervous as a defender. You start to question your ability to stay in front of this guy, given that if he blows by you, he's going to finish at the rim. But if you give him too much space, he's going to knock down one in your face. So all in all, love this aspect of his game. Now, where I start to get super excited about his potential with Louisville is when I start looking at how he acted as a spot-up shooter last year for Kennesaw State. So on the whole, he did it about 30% of the time, but he shot a whopping 45% on these looks. And it's not off of a low volume. So when you look at his just spot-up opportunities, he shot 82 of those. Now, why I find this so exciting is because he's going from Kennesaw State, where he was by and large their best player and had so much responsibility on the ball. When he goes to Louisville, he's going to get more of these looks because they have brought in guards to surround him. They have an Isaac McKneely, who's going to be another spot-up threat that creates gravity. Ryan Conwell can do a lot with the ball in his hands, and they have other pieces that are returning. So if you think about the efficiency that he has on spot-up looks, it's just going to get multiplied when he has more of those opportunities. Because it's not like Kennesaw State where the game plan every single night when opponents were playing them was, hey, we have to stop Adrian Wooley. When he's on Louisville's scouting report, we have Kayshawn Pryor, we have Isaac McKneely, we have Ryan Conwell, we have the international big. We have other guys who are a part of this program that are going to free him up to take highly efficient shots that he is going to knock down if given the opportunity. Now, after talking about how he's going to benefit from being around better players, I want to talk about how those better players are going to benefit from him. As a passer, he didn't have a great assist-to-turnover ratio last year, but he is someone that just commands a ton of respect from the defense. So as you watch these highlight clips, notice how much attention he gets whenever he gets any kind of separation on his man. So he gets a ton of paint touches, and when he gets those, a defense has to collapse because he is such a threat in all those aspects of his game that we've already discussed, that they have to send multiple guys at him at that point. And what that does is it creates a lot of looks on the perimeter. I noticed that a high percentage of his assists last year were on three-point makes, and it's just simply because a guy's having to sag off of that to take away his drive. He's smart enough to know that he has an easy pitch back to someone that's relocating on the perimeter, and they get really high-quality looks off. So we've talked about all of the shooting that Louisville has, and we'll talk about those guys in a second. But they're going to get a ton of open looks simply because Adrian Wooley's going to create that space for them. So Isaac McKneely has to be licking his chops, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But all in all, this is what makes it such a great fit. Now, lastly, I want to take a look at the overall class, and we've mentioned the names Isaac McKneely and Ryan Conwell quite a bit throughout this whole video. But looking at their clips again and kind of reminiscing on it, they're just such good knockdown shooters. Isaac McKneely in particular shot like 45% on over 200 attempts on the year. He is just as knockdown as they come. And when you pair that with a guy like Adrian Wooley, you have to start wondering, like, man, are we building something special here? And we'll talk about it in our final thoughts. But, you know, it doesn't just end with Isaac McKneely here. You also add in Ryan Conwell, who does similar things but can also act with the ball in his hands. So you pair all of that together as a cohesive transfer portal class, and that's why you see my excitement around this. You see the vision that Pat Kelsey has around this because, hey, we're in a position now where we have so much shooting and so much playmaking that it allows our returning guys to shine. And again, we'll talk about it in our final thoughts. But I look at transfer portal classes holistically, and I think that the group they've assembled makes a ton of sense together and gets me super excited. So for me, as I start to break down what this transfer portal looks like and kind of have my final thoughts on it, I feel like Louisville just did such an outstanding job putting themselves in a position to exceed what they did last year. Because when you look at last year, it was a little bit different of a scenario. They had to replace an entire roster. They were really forced to just retool everything that they did, and Pat Kelsey just did a phenomenal job. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. And then this year you look at it and it's a better situation to be in. They're bringing back known quantities and known qualities. They know that some of the pieces they have coming back are super effective. They have an idea of what their strengths are, and then they put in the work in the transfer portal to bring in guys who complement that and who really fit that system. I mean, Louisville fans who are watching this know that they love playing the game on two levels. They like getting to the rim, scoring around the rim, and they like shooting a lot of threes. So when that's your system, you have to recruit guys that are able to do that. And this transfer portal is just a great microcosm of how to do that. You get guys like Isaac McKneely and Ryan Conwell who can space the floor so well because that's, part of their skill set is being elite knockdown shooters. And then you pair that up with a guy who, our focus of our video today, Adrian Wooley, who can do both really well. He gets to the rim exceptionally. He can operate off of ball screens. So when Louisville has a center who can just be that rim runner off of a screen and roll, he's just going to put pressure on the defense. He's going to cut the corner on that screen, try to get to the rim and finish, or he's going to find a guy on the perimeter who's open after the defense collapses. And on top of that, he's multifaceted because you don't just have to play him with the ball in his hands. He can kick the ball over to a Ryan Conwell, for instance, who can drive, create some, and then kick it back to Wooley for an open three where he's just an astoundingly efficient shooter. So for me, all of that, the pieces fit together so well. And I can't say enough about how good of a job Pat Kelsey has done. Now, I know I get a little slammed from both ends here, but I'm not a Kentucky guy. I'm not a Louisville guy. But the state of Kentucky next year in basketball is going to be just extremely interesting to watch. There's two really solid teams in that state in different conferences who are going to play each other in the regular season. I'm super intrigued to see where it goes. Now, as you look at the transfer portal and where Louisville's class ranks, it's kind of hard to put a firm answer on that. They're definitely well above average. Like, they have put together a stellar class. It's a little bit smaller than some of the others, but when you talk about it in the grander scheme of thing of how it fits in, you can't help but just be super impressed by the consistent job that Pat Kelsey's doing with that program and what they've put together. You have to view them as a top of the ACC type team. And it's going to be interesting. I think they are a team that is going to contend for a Final Four spot. They have the pieces there to do that. And their ceiling is really unlimited. Like, this could be a team that could win a national championship if given the opportunity. But let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. What's Louisville's season going to end up like next year? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Would love to have that discussion. And lastly, I just appreciate everyone being here. It's great to build this community, have some good basketball talk, and share some basketball knowledge. So if you don't mind, or if you have a second, please feel free to click that follow button. It helps me out a lot, helps you stay in reach of what I'm doing, get notifications when a new video comes out. But again, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.